Alrighty guys, 1 or 2 minutes and then we're getting started. Just need to send out the link real quick. Alrighty, let's get started. Let me know by the way in the comments if you can hear me well, if you can hear the music on the background, if I need to put the music louder, less loud. Tell me if I need to change something. Just having a quick sip before we're starting. We had quite some difficulties actually with the live stream last week, and there was all kinds of things going on with the settings, and if I was just moving my screen it was already lagging tremendously. It was unbelievable, nothing came through, so I've changed all kinds of stuff with the bitrate and latency and I don't know what. I have watched a ton of YouTube videos of 12-year-olds playing games to show me how the hell or what I need to change in OBS. I fucking hate OBS. Jesus Christ, what a shit program that is. Unbelievable. I've also tried other software, but I don't know, man. You need to pay for everything, or it just doesn't work. It's just I don't know. For some whatever reason, there's just not a simple click, plug in, and then just go with it. But my God. All right, I would say let's get started. As I said, if the music is too loud or not loud enough, let me know. I've also been playing actually this weekend to see if I need to turn it up or not. And really, it depends on device. That is so weird. It depends on if you're watching this on your laptop, on your phone, even on your iPad. I have all three of them, and really for one device the sound was normal, loud. The other devices it was you could just barely hear it. It was very weird. All right, cool. Let's just start getting into this Bitcoin price action right now. We had a drop, and I have to say that I like it. I'm laughing my ass off what is happening here, because this is exactly what we have been talking about yesterday in yesterday's video, where I said this box where we are in right now here for BTC, that is like the most obvious trade, and it made just so much sense to get a bounce there, because so much lined up, right? You had there 1, 2, 3 highs, then the breakthrough, and then a retest. Also you have your local value area high here, and you had these very macro value area low of the entire range. Later on we're going to zoom out to the daily, and then you can see it. But yeah, it was just like almost too good to be true. And I've also said this already many times, if a certain level, if it is really too good to be true, everything lines up, everything's like, oh my God, this area needs to give some kind of a bounce. Usually then it doesn't. Don't ask me why. For the standard markets, for stocks, for futures, this is very different. But for somehow for crypto, if everyone is looking at the same, and within 12 to 24 hours after we had this push here, I saw everyone already, okay, this backtest, we're going in, and then we're going to 80K, and I saw so many people posting it, and right away alerts for me going off. Then I'm thinking, it's already, everyone's already looking at it. So therefore, for whatever reason, there's kind of a plague or whatever, a curse on it, and then it just doesn't happen. Give me 1 second, because then we're really going over the price section and what I'm doing right now. All right, thank you for the patience. So Bitcoin, let's just recap first what happened last night, because that was actually quite funny. I posted yesterday on Twitter, and so I had the video. I said, watch out, watch out. If we do not bounce from that most preferred area, it can go very, very fast, because you have all of this liquidity underneath these lows, and it can just go in one sweep. Well, that is exactly what happened. Okay, so however, we did have once let me see. Oh yeah, first I posted a video. Everyone's looking at the same trading setup right now. It makes me worried. So that was going long here from this box, right? A lot of people had stop losses somewhere here or here, doesn't really matter. And then I said, that has me a little bit worried. I did, however, entered a small long trade because we had bullish divergences, but the money flow was still pretty bad, as you can see. I ended it here on the retest of the golden pocket. This is, by the way, a slightly different chart that I'm using for my day-to-day use. We can also look at that, but there are so many lines and signals on there that I'm afraid it's a little bit overwhelming for some of you if you see that for the first time. But if you want to, I can also pull it up. There's just a bit more data on there. Anyway, so I entered the long, I had the stop loss underneath these lows. And then we had a very small bounce, but then we kind of just rolled over and I got stopped out. So like I said, had my stop loss underneath these lows. And the reason also for entering the trade is we had this triple low here. It is on the 5 minute. That has been taken out. We had this big second box. I also said this is a must hold. Because if not, we're going to drop, and that's of course what we did. And then we had this reclaim here of this 5 minute candles. Sorry, one 5 minute candle, a very good close actually here on top. So then I thought, okay, a small retrace, that's the entry. So therefore I entered stop loss underneath, and then I got stopped out, which of course is completely fine. I also mentioned it, said, yep, I was not so sure about this, so therefore I got stopped out on the trade. A little bit later, I also said that a lot of people are trying to long the current price for Bitcoin. At the time we were trading at and around 61,500, yet the price fails to make a higher high. In other words, you have bearish CVD. You can see here the CVD here right in the middle. It's just going higher, 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 and price is making lower highs. And also you can see here that the open interest, so the amount of contracts that are open, that's increasing. So it is an increase of positions, right? That is open interest. Is open interest going higher or lower? Open interest going higher. So you have an increase in open positions. Then the question is, are these positions opening? Are they shorts or are they longs? Well, they are longs because the CVD, the delta, is going higher. Well, if there are more longs opening, but they are unable to make a higher high, what does it say? Well, it says that someone is absorbing all of those orders and wants to push price lower. So this is a very, very powerful tool. That's also what you see here. CoinLize is completely free to use, so definitely check that out. I said a lot of people are trying to long. If this breaks, my boy, it breaks. And that's also exactly what happened. Then after that, you had a very fast, big washout. And we just had a major dump. I also saw Lucky, that's a trader that I respect a lot. He has incredible trades. This guy is so good. He also looked exactly at the same. Now, the only bummer about this move was that for, I don't know what reason, it always happens in the most impossible time for me. So also here I was asleep again. This move up also happened very late for me, and I think we had a few other moves here in the chart that constantly, for whatever reason, happen nighttime for me. So that is then very hard for me to get in. But yeah, there was a short here. It was from the VWAP. So if let me actually put that in, then you can see it. And I'm using Mark Cipher for this. So that was let me see. Actually, it's funny because on Bybit maybe you can also use that chart. This right here was a backtest of VWAP. Here it's a little bit higher, but that was the backtest. And here was that triple low. Here was the original bounce. I got in here, and then of course later on I got stopped out, so that was completely fine. And then we had that big dump. But yeah, looking back at it, actually this could have been an entry. Stop loss above the VWAP, and then to go lower, and then you would have waken up in a huge profit. CryptoPhase, by the way, took the trade already a bit earlier. He's already in there for a while, so yeah, I think he's up 400k or something. Absolutely insane. All right, cool. Let's clean out the chart a little bit before we are going to look at some other scenarios. I have some stuff worked out for you. So, all right, these S&Ps right there off the table. We had them, we have backtested them. This area stays. It still remains very, very important. And this high volume mode for now, I keep it on, and we have this S&P here. Also, if you might remember, I said in I think it was 2 videos ago, I said we have a daily level here, we have a daily level here, and we have a daily level here, but I do not put them on the chart because if this goes, it goes. Liquidity is much more important than having a daily level on your chart. So therefore I also said I'm not going to trade it actively, and that's exactly what happened. Now the only thing that did not happen is that we took taken out this low. So let me just quickly put that in. That is still an S&P, so actually this could be a very nice trade if you want it. Why is this not working? Let me see, 1 second. Yeah, so anyways, from these lows, let me make this a bit more fat, then it's a bit more clear for you. That could still be actually a nice trade. I have to say that if you just look at Market Cipher B here on the 1 hour, I mean, my god, this looks like a mega poopy that's gonna happen. But I also right away have to say that for whatever reason, Market Cipher B has been pretty off this month. It happens from time to time, usually in the months where you have low volatility or not so much volume, that Market Cipher B is just a little bit off. Because I also said, I think it was yesterday, that once we had this move up, if you just look at Market Cipher B here on the 1 hour, I mean, this looks incredibly bullish. Yeah, you have a red dot, but you would actually say it makes that a lot of sense. The price will just go down a little bit, but the money flow and everything is still up, so that eventually you make a higher high, and yeah, that this is actually extremely bullish. Yet, if we then look at price, we just hit it, and after that, we just kind of slowly rolled over. So very unusual price action, and I really like Market Cipher B. It is so accurate. It's incredible, especially on crypto. So yeah, if you can put it all together, so not only the momentum wave, but also the money flow and everything, you know how to read it and use it. It is incredibly powerful for crypto and for stocks. Not so much for other products. For example, I've also tried to use it a lot for future trading. Don't do it because it works absolutely terrible. But yeah, for crypto and everything, it works all. Again, however, there are these periods of time where it doesn't, like I just showed you, and there are more moments in the chart where I thought, wow, this is going to pump, or wow, it's going to dump, and then that is then, for whatever reason, the low or the high. So with that being said, if you would just show me this and not the price, not the chart, nothing, but you would just show me this, I would say every rise up is a short, because this looks absolutely terrible. But we have to keep in mind that yeah, it can play a little bit either way. On the 4 hour, we are right now printing a green dot, so maybe we have some movement to the upside. Maybe this needs to chill a little bit. 1 or 2 4 hour candles, then eventually dump again. That actually would be nice, could form a bullish divergence. I'm hoping it will also then appear here on the hourly. I was actually already hoping that we would do something like this maybe, but we have to see. What we could also imagine is that we go down again. We are taking that low that I just drew in, right? So that is this low right here. Then you create your bullish divergence, and then you get your first move up. But maybe you don't have your bullish divergence yet on a 4 hour, and then you get another dump, and that maybe even cause a triple divergence. Well, I can tell you that I have 100% success rate on triple divergences. Every triple divergence that I've ever taken with market Cipher B, and it's then usually on the hourly and 4 hour, that has always played out. So I still need to run into my first failure. There will probably be one time that it doesn't work, but if we ever get that, man, I am longing the farm, absolutely. So that's also something that could still happen. For me, this is just a whole area, and I'm just gonna wait to see what plays out. Also, I said in yesterday's video, if you've seen the update, that talked about this red dot being printed. Well, it got confirmed, of course. Money flow still looks relatively okay, but with also the VWAP down and the RSI is down and everything, we probably have to expect that we see more downward action in the next couple days. So am I right away now bullish or bearish? Yesterday, of course, because the thumbnail said, oh my god, we're going to a new bull market. If you really then watch the video, I'm not really talking about a bull market, because I said we are at the make a break moment here. Are we going to bounce off here, and are we going higher, or are we going to go lower then to go higher? However, if we now bounce from here or from here or from here, actually it all doesn't matter, because this is your low, this is your high, and then this could be your first higher low. And I say that on purpose, your first, because if we now zoom out on the daily, right, then we still have this big range. Maybe it looks a bit messy, but hold on here for a second, just try to stay with me. So you have kind of this broadening wedge kind of pattern, and if we're just looking at market structure, it is still bearish. I mean, there's no way in denying it. It is still bearish. What do I mean? Well, you're creating your high here, and then this could be your first low, or you could even take this, it doesn't really matter, and then this is your lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And now you would say, principle would say, we're going to create a lower low again. Also here on the last bounce, it was again perfectly from the golden pocket. Not a good entry for me, not at least my style of trading, because on the second tap it did not take it out. We can also zoom in actually right away, you can see it. Where was that? It's on the 5 minute now real quick. And I think actually on some exchanges it did tap higher. But here you can see we have that initial tap that is here at 65,055, and then this one is at 64,955, so slightly lower. But this was also in the weekend, on Sunday, so usually I don't trade on Sunday. Also here volume is super thin, so yeah, I just don't want to get wigged out. You can do it, but I don't want to stare at the charts for hours and hours and hours on a relatively small move. It's just not worth it for me. And then currently we are finding some support on a very obvious level. Actually, I need to pull up the Bybit chart, because that's just be clear. It's not only do we have the golden pocket, but also the POC of the range, at least if you look at Bybit. And you know what it is? I actually find Bybit just much more precise, much more clear. And therefore I am always charting and trading on the chart of Bybit, and actually never on something else. But like I said, I have so many TA, I have so many different price levels from different assets that I try to keep that a little bit separated. I have one chart for streaming, and then I have one chart for my own trading, and then I have one chart for the macros. So if I'm really looking at daily time frames and bigger, then I use the chart from Kraken, because price can be off, but I just want to see bigger swings from day to day, from week to week. And if eventually the wick or the price is then a few $100 higher or low, that for me doesn't matter. So then I can use the chart from exchange that is yeah, pretty off. So that's the idea behind it, or at least that's how I'm doing it. Like I said, current bounce level is pretty obvious. If you pull the fib, and I already did it on this chart, from this low to this high and then back is the golden pocket, but also here you have the fat red line. That is your point of control. Yeah, it's just it's a lot of confluence here. There's just also a lot of trading volume. Yeah, what is the most preferred scenario? If you are bullish, that you actually want to see this be taken out and then to go higher. But actually, what I have noticed, and let's say that the accuracy of market size B is going to pick up again, because this month so far it has been absolutely terrible. Also, just price action has been terrible. Made a video about that, about how the price action is just rigged. That was a little bit, of course, with a wink of an eye, it's a little bit of a joke, but actually there is a sense of truth in there, in the sense that you see that a lot of levels got front run. SRPs just were not there. Also here, triple high. This is something that you actually barely see, that the price makes a triple high on the exact same price level. So yeah, those kinds of things is just that's just really the missing of volume here. So that yeah, that's why. Let's say we would go lower and we are taking out, so we're not getting a bounce, right? That is now kind of where we're going. So this should be our level to bounce or to lose and reclaim. You do something like this, and then eventually to go higher. This is then your entry. Bulls averages on the 1 hour and lower. That will be absolutely nice. If not, you could have it from this area right here. There are also some people who are looking at a 4-hour order block, or at least this area right here. It would coincide with a SRP here from these lows. I mean, it could happen. Never say never. It could happen. And if I would pull the fib retracement to the absolute lows right here, then it would also still coincide with a golden pocket. However, you know, if the low is in and the price is bullish, you actually don't want to see it to go this deep. You don't want to see price to go all the way here or even lower and then to go higher. Would be the ultimate FQ, because it will be a scenario that no one is thinking of, and we just saw already that when everyone is looking at the scenario, that is usually then not what is playing out. And I still also have some confluence around this area, but yeah, it is pretty deep. And on the macro, when you're looking at support and resistance, or levels to reclaim or strength of the market, then you're underneath that macro value area low, and you're still under major support like the 50-day EMA. I have that on another chart, but that is somewhere at the level where we were yesterday. So yeah, you need to reclaim all of those levels before you really see some strength coming in. Let's say we would fill the week, actually. I think we're gonna come much lower, because I have been looking at this trading area for a while, but once we hit it, I think I was on holiday, I'm not sure, I think I was in Taiwan. So we kind of overshoot a little bit, we took all liquidity out and then went higher, congratulations. But if we would now go there again, so price would eventually go lower and really bleed lower, then this is absolutely your must hold. If you lose this, bear market, it's that simple. Lose that level, it is bear market, because then I even drew an arrow. No idea why I did that. Because then, I mean, you really are coming down. Also, yeah, you're coming down to such a lows, and you're also coming back to the yearly open. So let me zoom out here on the monthly. Let's see, where do we have January? Yeah, you can see what I mean. So here on the Bybit chart, 42,280. That is your yearly open, right? So if you would go lower than that, yeah, that's pretty damn bearish. For ETH, we already touched the yearly open once, and we kind of wiped it out, and then we just spiked up again. But yeah, so imagine if this happens, let's say we hit it tomorrow for whatever reason. If this happens, you could have been in a coma from the 1st of January, your new year, get fucked up, hit your head against something, and then wake up tomorrow and you would see that price has done nothing. So I think that would make a lot of people bearish, and like I said, this is then your absolutely must-hold area. Where exactly it is, I have no idea, but that is your absolutely must-hold area. If losing this area, yeah, it's game over, it's bear market, and then it's finish. To be honest, I'm not in that camp. I think that we actually at the beginning of a big bull run. If you just look at cycles, then you usually see that September price is picking up again. So if we would go in this area this week, or maybe at the beginning of September or whatever, for me, for now, it is a screaming buy, because I think that we're going much higher. Would we close weekly candles underneath this area here? So I'm really taking a weekly. I want to see a bigger time frame. I don't care really much about a wick underneath, or maybe a daily close here and then the next day we're pumping up again. You know, that's just all fake out. That's just kind of price deviation going lower, fooled you, and then we're just going higher again. So that is something we have seen over and over again. I mean, it's pretty much the same as right here, right? You have price going higher, sideways, and then just back in again. So that happens all the time. Therefore, I really would say, since we're looking at such a big time frame, you want to see also a big time frame close above or underneath level before it's really lost. All right, cool. Let me take a sip before we continue. I'm also gonna, by the way, put out a poll. I'm just curious for the people tuning in now, later. Let me know in the comments, or let me know in the poll if you think if we're going higher or lower from the current price level. In other words, kind of, is the bottom in, or are we getting another move down? If the bottom is really in and we are going higher from here, well, I think that will catch a lot of people by surprise, because yeah, I think a lot of people are still aiming now for lower prices. You can see how quickly sentiment is changing over certain price levels once we lose or reclaim something. So yes, I know sometimes these damn thumbnails, they're a little bit like, oh, we're going higher, oh, we're going lower. But if I just say there's not so much going on and I'm aiming for 1 or 2% move, then no one is clicking on it. So yeah, that's just unfortunately sometimes how it works. If you're scalping, by the way, let's look at that for a second. That's maybe also nice. And we can also look at ETH or maybe some other assets if you want to. If you are scalping the smaller ranges, then usually at or just after a big move, you still have some volatility. So that is doable then to get a scalp in. This, for example, look at this, 2.5%. Well, there are days where that's the total day range, right, from the morning till the end of the trading day. And also here the bounce. Wow, what a surprise! Golden pocket. I was not there behind the chart, so I didn't take the trade. But yeah, you are able to scalp these kinds of things. I had an alert also about taking out this high right here. Thought if we're taking it out and right away closing underneath, I'm taking the short, because yeah, like I said, some of these time frames, they still look so incredibly bearish, with the idea, or at least hoping that this time it is a bit more accurate and correct. Maybe I will still enter a long now. Let's see how this 15-minute closes. Actually, with that being said, let me just check the order flow right now. Okay, yeah, so this move up, as you can see, was based on increase of volume. So there's all new longs opening up, and right now it's a little bit mixed. It's some longs closing, some shorts entering, a little bit of both. If you would enter this trade, stop loss of course needs to go above the high, about 1% stop loss. I need to wait for this 15-minute to close, because I want to have more confirmation. But yeah, this could have been a long trade. The only bummer about this is that you have a pretty big stop loss. So if you need to put it here and then your first target is the high, you have a 1.5 R. that is not the best. That's not the best. So you also could put it in locally. That's sometimes what I do. If I say, okay, you know what, if we're going to lose the 78.6-ish, it's also probably going to go for these lows. So then I can squeeze out a better R. So you can see here 2.8, 2.9 is then your risk to reward. It also happened to me already a few times because, hey, this is crypto, that we do something like this, wigging me out and then just go higher again. You could re-enter, but you are taking a stop then once on your trade, and that's sometimes a bummer. But if price action is working well and everything, also with market B is just working like clockwork, then these levels, especially on crypto and especially on the Bybit chart, are just being respected like clockwork. That is insane. And then you can very easily trade these, and yeah, with tight stop losses, clear entries, clear take profits at the VWAP, at certain support and resistance levels. So that's very nice. If you, by the way, think that this is going to go lower, then this could be your first short. Like I said, once we close underneath the level, that could be a short. And if else, you have to wait. We created also a naked point of control yesterday, and that actually could be a very nice short opportunity. Let me put this in for a second. That's right here. That's a red line. However, usually when you have such a dump and it is very bearish, most likely you're not gonna come that high. So you really need to have a trigger to hit that level. That is 61,960-ish. Oh wait, let me just real quick check on a 5-minute that same, because sometimes that is moving if you use a different time frame. Yeah, okay, so it's kind of the same here on the Bybit spot chart. So approximately that 61,960, that could be a nice short trigger, but yeah, that is another 3.5%. I don't think it's going to happen, actually. I don't think it's going to happen. What is going to happen, by the way, is it's results of Nvidia. That's going to be tonight after New York close, right? So local time, New York, 4 o'clock. Few minutes after 4, you get the results of Nvidia, and that will very most likely move the, actually, yeah, that's a guarantee. It's just guarantee. It's going to move the traditional markets, so future market, and then I mean ES, Nasdaq, NQ, something that also trade every day, and that is definitely going to move these markets. However, there are certain events that will move Bitcoin, certain events won't. For example, if you have certain earnings of big companies, so let's say that's Nvidia, right? That is, or used to be Meta, but not really anymore. Apple, absolutely. Google, Alphabet. If they come out with numbers after the bell, then there's already less volume, and then you really see these standard markets moving up and down tremendously. Well, actually, right now I cannot show you. So that will sometimes then help these markets, and a lot of people then, if something happens on the traditional or the standard markets with the interest rates, with the earnings, FOMC, whatever, people don't see how correlated or how much Bitcoin is actually just a bitch of the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. If you have two charts next to each other, right? So you would split the screen, and then you would have the Nasdaq next to it, and then sometimes you can see really, if the Nasdaq goes down, Bitcoin goes down. If the S&P 500 goes up, Bitcoin goes up. If the S&P 500 goes up, and Bitcoin stays flat, the second S&P 500 starts dumping, BTC starts dumping. And people say, oh, where does this dump come from? It's like, yeah, it has nothing to do with BTC. It has to do with the traditional or the standard markets, who are just so much more important, who are so much bigger. There's so much more money behind there, but they are very much correlated. So please don't come to me with some kind of BS story like it's separated, they're not correlated. There are more times during a day than not that they are heavily correlated. I also have entered trades where I thought this is a great long, then I see the S&P 500 and Nasdaq going lower. I move the stop loss as soon as I can, because I know for sure that they will pull Bitcoin down, and that has happened a million times. So please, right away, a gem, write it down, try it out, just test it, that you will see how many times the Bitcoin is very much correlated to the traditional markets, Nasdaq and S&P 500. If you want to look for the chart for the S&P 500, it is ES. That is what you need to look for, ES. All right, those are the future markets, and once you see that, that's this one. You can also search for a specific contract. So right now everyone is trading here on the September contract. But if you take this, then you can, like I said, just put it here on the right, and you can see, and it moves very much the same. Now, these future markets, one last thing, and then we're going back to the Bitcoin price. These future markets, they trade, I think, 23 hours a day, but the most correlation you will find during the opening hours of New York. So local time New York goes open at 9:30, right? And it closes at 4. And if then between that time frame, 9:30 local New York till 4, the indexes go higher, then you will see most of the correlation. So if the indexes right now are going lower, the correlation is very, very low. You might see some move or some movement, but not a whole lot. All right, so that is right away a gem. All right, cool. We can also do some requests if you want to. We can look at ETH, we can look at some alts, whatever you guys are preferring. Just let me know in the YouTube chat, and I will have a look at it. If you want to listen to some other music, also let me know. We can make it happen. And at the same time, this is why we are waiting for a 15-minute close in this case, because it looks like we are going to close above this this area right here, and therefore it's not a valid trade, and therefore it's also very important that you wait for candle closes on not always the small time frames, but the intermediate one, like the 15-minute or 5-minute or 30-minute before you enter the trade, because a candle close says so much about price action, right? If you have a red candle close, yeah, it just says something about the strength of the bulls or the bears. Or if you have candles with bigger wicks on there, it says something about liquidity has been taken, people that are being liquidated, stop losses, these kinds of things. So that's all important to take in consideration. All right. Well, we don't need this anymore. Nice to see that the prediction from yesterday came true. Oh, here, by the way, you can see very well on the chart that I used that the VWAP is also very close to price action, like I said on the earlier here in the stream. So yeah, this could have been a trade short of the VWAP, stop loss 0.5% above, and then just trade it to the downside. All right, cool. We don't need this anymore. Shall we look at ETH and other stuff? Because ETH, whoo, it had it had a pretty big dump, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take the Bybit chart. I don't know if I've already have something on here. Could be the stream is lagging now a little bit. Let me know if it is. No, this is not the correct chart, I think. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, ETH. Let's have a look. So same range kind of for ETH, right? We had a dump to 2100-ish. And I have to say I was a little bit surprised actually by the dump once it happened. Also again, I think it was this? Yeah, I think it was the end maybe of my holiday. From top to bottom, my lordy, that was a big one, almost 40%. So that was actually a pretty big move. ETH has just been weak all around. I've expected much more price movement, but who knows, it can play catch up in the next couple months. Because it's not suddenly a bad project or anything, and there's still so much running on ETH. So I do think that we are going to see all-time highs relatively soon, in the sense that once everything starts running again, you really have that kind of bull run or a bull mentality, that people see the exact same stuff as what I'm seeing, and that is like, oh, ETH is actually very much undervalued, it should go much higher. You see all kinds of crap on social media coming by, why it should go to, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7k, and then eventually also becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So everyone's saying, I heard this, I saw something here, this person says it should go there, and then let's start buying. And then everyone starts rushing in, and then suddenly you can see these huge moves to the upside. That is one factor. People also, of course, look at the ETH versus BTC chart, at the dominance chart, at if there is some tokens going to be locked or unlocked, the fact that ETH is deflationary. You know, there's so many cases to be made for this to go higher, but I think once that run is really starting, I think it go very, very fast. Okay, so where Bitcoin right now is still on the POC of the range, ETH already hit the very early low, so it's slightly lower. And Bitcoin also had the golden pocket of this low. You can see we're at the 78.6, and we front run a little bit here the golden pocket. So all in all, slightly weaker than BTC, and there's actually still, I think, also here a good case to be made that we are going lower. Man, I have an itch, unbelievable. All right. Also here, actually market size of B is exactly the same, right? We have that green dot here on the 4 hour, but also here the 1 hour. It looks like we're going to do a massive poopy. Yeah, this looks bad. I mean, this looks very, very bad. So also here, if you would show me this any day of the week, I would say we're going to dump down and we're going to go much lower. What could be a short, very clean, actually, this would be nice. If you hit or backtest this level right here, so you have this low, take it a little bit actually as an area, because maybe these hourly candles also could cause for some movement. So kind of starting off from 2,555 to 2,555, that is kind of your shorting area, and then just hit new lows. Really, that should be the first target. You could take some intermediate profit here, so TP1 here, because you can also do kind of a backtest, right, of these highs right here. I would actually take a very small profit, 20% off the trade, 25%, because yeah, it just, for now, it just looks like more, it has more chance of going lower, has more room to run to the downside to hit a critical level, for example the golden pocket, than to bounce off here. But just in case it does and you get a hard bounce back, that you have taken some profit, and of course that you move your stop loss then to entry. That is at least how I would play it very locally. And then for the longs, yeah, almost kind of the same as what you see for BTC. So another dump down into that golden pocket, and then to go higher. And if else, actually, I want to say aim for the lows. You could try this from these lows, but actually there's nothing here. We also have no volume, as you can see here on the volume pool that I just had. You can see here there's just not so much. So yeah, there's just not a whole lot that is holding this up. I would be very careful. So then only really a clear loss and reclaim on the level on a bigger time frame, for example 30 minutes or an hour, preferably at least an hour, and then to ride it to the upside. Yes, you will have then a little bit of a bigger stop loss, 1, 2, 3%, but I'd rather have that with a confirmation than just yank it in right away once you see that level reclaim, because this asset is just much more volatile than Bitcoin. So why would you want to be exposed to something that is so much more volatile and with the risk of being stopped out so fast? Just wait for a bit more confirmation. And as I was said in yesterday's video, right, everything for me right now, or at least if we go lower, I treat it as swing trades. Now I will probably get burned 1 or 2 times, but once you get a good entry, for example here from the golden pocket, and you go higher, just move your stop loss to entry. Costs you nothing. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. You can re-enter again. So yes, at the beginning there was a risk for you, right? You enter somewhere here and then you have your stop loss somewhere here. So yes, if price goes lower, this part right here is then your risk, so you are willing to lose that. But if price moves higher, you move your stop loss. There's just a very big potential to the upside because of the cycles where we're in. Other thing that, by the way, saw coming by, is actually nice to look at the average return of August. Whew, you're not gonna like that. I think this is the one. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Ooh, we're fine with that level. Let me see which website was it. Was it CoinGlass? I have no idea. Let's check it out. Man, this is slow. Let me know, by the way, also if my stream is lagging or if anything here is slow. Come on, bro. Yep, well, there you go. There you go. Finally, it only took a month. Yeah, so here you can see the month of August usually is pretty bad. Funny enough though, in the bull market here, was that 21? I think so, 21. Look at this, negative return, 21%. So even in absolute bull market territory, you have those red months, and 21%. That was a big one. Let me check just to be sure if that is actually really the bull market. I'm 99% sure. But hey, I'm also getting a day older, so I have to check sometimes, twice, 3 times. Yeah, okay, so that was 21. So you can see that 21, although bull market still gave a negative return. Same for 2020, and actually 2020 was also a good year. That's interesting. Look at that. January, wait, 2020, just kidding. Yeah, that was this. Right now it looks like a blip on the chart, but back then, woof. Yeah, look at this, August. So yeah, this was a dump of 12%. What did it say at the time? Yeah, minus 14. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This right away is not updated. This must be from yesterday, because I think when I looked this morning what the monthly return was, I think it was minus 8%. Let me see, where are we right now? Minus 7.5, you can see it here on top. Minus 7.5, so that is the monthly return right now. Still have a couple days on the calendar. I wouldn't mind if we stop somewhere here. Also, some of the alts are getting a little bit of a beating, so if you are bullish on some of the alts, then I would say this is your time to pick some of it up. I also did some TA on some local TA on some alts. Let me show you. I have been looking at BNB. Man, this thing had a great run up, and also now hitting some critical levels. I can take this out, by the way. Where did I see that? Let me see. Actually, you can see here how the asset is respecting the levels so clearly. That was actually unbelievable. So I will be trading this more because you want to have something that respects the levels. You want to have something that's very clear and that just works very well. Let me see what I did before. I think it was the long from... Yeah, I hope it's clear for you to see, but we have a golden pocket here and you have these lows. So this golden pocket then was in line with a daily level. It is a little bit more wicky than BTC, but this was actually your long trade. And then you even get a retest later on here. That could be your second long entry. So if you then again pull the FIB retracement to that level, here we go. Then you can see it's again a golden pocket. Therefore I'm trading this so much because it just works so well. It overshoots that a little bit, but actually that's a very nice run up. And then you can see it just respects this trend line very nicely. And this is nothing more than just a bounce off the area. So here you have your tops, right? And then you just get a breakout, you get a retest. It does take a couple hours. Like, you need to have some patience. You cannot sweat it, you cannot get too nervous about it. I mean, it takes, what is this? 8, 9, 10 hours or something? Yeah, 12 hours. So yeah, if you enter in the morning, then at the end of the day, you're finally seeing some movement. So it is a little bit maybe more nerve-wracking when you see sometimes a bit more of a direct reaction from Bitcoin or from Ethereum. Some of these altcoins, sometimes they really take their time, and then suddenly, poof, you see the movement. But the idea actually is very simple, is that you are kind of consolidating, you have that point of control. It takes a very long time, waiting, you have an attempt, you have another attempt, and then eventually you have that run up, you have your back test, and you go higher. Then you have your high here, and look at this, how actually nice this works, is unbelievable. You have your high here, and then you have again a back test of that high, and then you have a first attempt to break these highs, and then you have your second attempt, then you get your back test of these highs, value area high, absolutely perfect, and then you have some sideways action, and then you have this high right here, which is taking out this high, but it is an equal high to this, so that's a little bit of a bummer. So I was actually really hoping to take that out, but that is very nice. And then you go down again, and then this high is almost the same as this high, and then you just lose it, back test it. Also here it takes time again, as you can see, and then you're just going lower and lower. Very beautiful price action, super clean, and yeah, there was actually no reason to not enter any of these trades. And now I'm just waiting for price to settle in a little bit. This current price level actually could be a short if you want to see. And now it still says SFP, but actually it's just change this to support and resistance, because it has shown to be resistance the first time, and then the second time it was support, right? This is your resistance. Now the support, look how it nicely is support now again, and then actually it could be resistance again, and then we go lower. I actually think then you're going to take out this point of control, because now the first time you had a bounce, and the second time maybe you're getting a better bounce than maybe off that golden pocket, and then to go higher. You can also form a nice support divergence, so actually very clean, clear price action. Let's have a quick look at Sol. Sol, I think, has been a little bit less friendly to me, in the sense that it didn't trade as clean as I was hoping for. I had these two horizontal, these two tops right here into a big golden pocket, as you can see, and we once tapped it, I hate that. If we have a big level, we tap and we go. The second time we are not taking it out and we're just grinding, and then we're just going lower. These highs are not being taken out, these two yellow horizontal lines, and also yeah, the golden pocket is not being entered again. So this was a bit of a bummer. This was something I was looking at later on to say, okay, maybe we were forming something like a triangle and then to have a breakout, but of course, yes, with the price action, then everything just dumps, and then yeah, pretty much every TA you have done or bigger time frames and actually smaller time frames, yeah, you can just throw it out of the window, because if BTC then makes a big dump, it usually pulls the altcoins with it. So yeah, that is what it is right now at the point of control again. So yeah, I think I have to wait. I actually would prefer it if we eventually get another dump and go much lower, just take out all of this here, hit that daily, hit that weekly, hit the SRP, and then to go higher. That would absolutely be a trade for me. In case you're wondering what is the green here on my screen, that used to be a channel that we were in, but we left it. Yeah, very simple. Let's have a look at Sai. I don't know how you call it, Sai. That also gave me alert earlier. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a backtest almost-ish from this trend line. So you can see that for these kinds of things, I just keep it actually very simple. Some trend lines, horizontal, diagonal, support, resistance, volume. We have some levels as a daily level, SRP level, weekly, these kinds of things. So relatively simple, right? Also, Market Cipher B actually here on the daily is one of the only few coins where Market Cipher B actually looks really good. So you have your momentum waves curving up, you have your money flow here curving up. If you have this in the chart and you're entering after this kind of a bullish period, this is the most beautiful breeding ground for a huge move up. If you are in a bullish territory, so a bull run, right, that we might enter, then this is kind of how you want to leave the tarmac before you're flying higher, because then there's just so much damage being done, there's so much selling going on, there's so much consolidation, that usually after such a big consolidation there's just this huge move up, and then you really can see these crazy vertical moves that you've also seen here, and it's just no stopping. There's hard to get in, and then we just go higher and higher. I also, by the way, hold this coin on spot, so just to be completely transparent, we were kind of making this falling wedge kind of pattern, broke out. Looks like we're backtesting now, so in case BTC is soon going higher and we find support here on the trend line, then actually this could be a very nice clean entry. You do have to be a little bit patient, because yeah, we're on a daily, right? So this can take 1, 2, 3 days, yeah, and boom, higher. But that could be such a nice backtest. Also here then backtesting the golden pocket again, and that is then measured from this low to this high golden pocket. Oh, actually, I think I need to move this a tiny bit. Yeah, okay, so almost. So one more move down actually would be nice. Therefore, also have this trading set up. That's just a reminder for myself, in case I forget. And if not, then I would only look to take out these lows. We have a weekly level there, and yeah, of course we have this nice rounding bottom here on the daily. But then actually I really want to see price just taking everything out and then to go higher. But actually, I think that this trade right here is the trade to look at right now, for us to go higher. All right, cool. What else do we have? Oh yeah, of course. So we also have a short trade in case I'm completely wrong. I mean, it could always happen. I always ask myself after every good or okay trading ideas or concepts, what makes most of the sense, what is most likely which way we're going. But what if I'm wrong? What if something completely else happens? Am I then prepared to take it? Because you might be very bullish, but if price going lower, yeah, it would be just stupid to hold on to this idea. Oh, but we need to go higher because I'm bullish and I made a decision in a narrative, and therefore we need to let this play out because else I'm a loser. If price goes the other way, just change your narrative. If you see it's not working, just flip it. Who cares? There is there's no shame in chasing that. So if we would go higher and we would take out these highs right here, that is also a very cluster of highs on smaller time frames. I mean, we're looking now here at the daily, but if you would go to, for example, to the 4 hour, let me quickly zoom back out here. Then you can see very nice highs that we create here. So if we would go higher, it's also a daily level. It is an SR level or SFP level, however you want to call it. And then we would go lower. It's also the 78.6 on the FIB retracement. Then I would also definitely take that trade. If you would also get bearish divergences on such a time frame, then I would also definitely take that trade. But of course, I want us to go higher. I would like to, but we need to keep in mind that there are multiple scenarios. So just draw them out for yourself. Have your alerts. Once your alert go off, go to the chart, see how it looks like. If you see what you were looking for at the beginning, you say, hey, these are my criteria. If I see this, then I pull the trigger on a long or a short. Then of course take the trade. Always use risk management, always use a stop loss. If it goes against you, the trade idea could be perfect. If it goes against you, it goes against you. Trading is the only business, is the only job where you can do everything perfect but still have a losing trade. It is what it is. But yeah, you know what, then it is, and then you just take a stop and you move on to the next trading setup. Don't beat yourself about it. It is what it is. So these are for right now, at least for SAI, what I'm looking at. SUI, also something that I am very bullish on the long term, at least. This was also a pattern that I was looking at, but yeah, like I said, BTC had different plans, took a big dump and took the whole market down. There are actually 3 big setups that I'm looking at, and that is a long from the golden pocket, very area low of this range that we are creating. As you can see, I also have an alert in my screen. I'm very much interested in this level because yeah, there's just nice confluence, and actually also on the bigger time frame you are still creating then a higher low, and this actually really could be the start of a price movement going much higher. And the second one, not all too nice, but hey, it could play out, is kind of the area 78.6, 88.6 on the FIB retracement, weekly level, daily level, and a slightly higher low than the current low that we created. Not sure if we're gonna get it. Not sure, gonna be honest with you, I'm not sure. And another one would then be an SFP of these highs. I have one high here, and then I have a double high right here. So actually I would like to see everything then being taken out and then to go lower here, exactly the same actually as SAI. If you also see a bearish divergence, that's extra confirmation. Definitely pull the trigger on that short trade. But for now, I have to say I'm leaning more bullish. Maybe the next couple of days could still be red, but also here, Mark Cipher B, it looks actually really good on this time frame to get something like this. Actually, matter of fact, if I go back here in time, you can also see it. This is actually what you want to see. Look at that, red, but you also can see kind of that curvature here in the momentum waves, and then you also see the curvature here in the money flow, and then eventually you have this huge lift off, and then just for days and weeks on end it is just higher, and there's no stopping it. And it's also very hard to get into a trade because it is also a bit volatile along the way. Suddenly you see bigger drops of a few percent, and then suddenly you have a big pump again. So it's not very hard to get in. So these kinds of things, really with these bigger swings, I'm trying to do it on spot trading. But once we get that relentless bull run to the upside, I'll also definitely try to long here and there on technical levels, of course. Always technical levels, always a stop loss. Make sure that you don't FOMO into certain things. If you miss a trade, you miss a trade, but I think there can be life-changing money to be made. Okay, TIA is then the last one, and after that I think we're going to wrap it up. Let me see. TIA, man, was Twitter and social media bullish about this coin? Unbelievable. It already got chilled when I don't know, it was coming for $2 or something at the market. That was for a lot of exchanges the opening price, $2 something. It was a terrible timing. I actually expected this to go down right away. I expected this to go to $1 or less than $1, and And I thought, well, if it goes there and I have certain alerts, then I thought, then I will maybe buy something because narrative still might be relatively good. But it didn't happen. It just went higher and higher and higher and higher. And I actually also kind of lost sight a little bit. And then eventually one day I woke up and it was $20. And I was like, damn, did I just missed this huge run? I mean, this was already a 10x from $2 to $20. So yeah, I kind of bought myself things ahead for that. I did not expect that this bitch will run up all the way up to $20. And what do you know, now we're back at 5. So that is that's nice to see. Yes, also I hold in spot. I think it's still at least, let's say it even goes back to the previous all-time high. That's $20. That's a 4x. So that actually would be very nice. Also here, actually very simple, right? We have this falling wedge. We have a breakout. We might have a retest anytime soon, and it also coincides again with a few nice technical levels. Currently, very area low here at this range. We're now at the daily, and that value area low also for this coin coincides here with the golden pocket. If we would go lower, 78.6, I would also definitely along that, because that is then of course the trend line. So that is then yeah, kind of a back test or a bounce of that level. Here you could say, okay, that was already your breakout and your retest, and now you got into it and you got out it again. It looks ugly, but I will give it a pass, because some of these altcoins, you know, if the liquidity is relatively low, then it's also easier to move price, and then it's not so clean sometimes the price section. Therefore, you also usually percentage-wise need to keep a bigger stop loss. So 2 longs for me. Yes, you could long the current price level, but I would be very cautious. The other one is then 78.6, which lines up with the daily level and with an S&P of these lows. That actually would be a very nice level. So this really is my preferred trade. This actually looks super sexy. And then we have another one from S&P from these lows, but yeah, that's already pretty deep of a retracement, but it is still the trend line, therefore I kept it on. So let's say for the next couple of days it's like, and then eventually you hit it and then you go higher, and you also have your confirmations on small time frames. Maybe you see some bullish divergence or bullish CVD, some good order flow. I think I will try to play the long trade then to the upside. And then a short for me would only be if you really go much higher to take out the daily in S&P, which also lines up with the put in control of this area. That for me would be the only short that I'm taking. Other than that, or intermediate, there's not really a whole lot. Yes, we have a daily level here at $6, and then you have here something at 6.18, but I actually then just want us to reach for the highs, because that just gives you more confirmation that the liquidity is taken from this level and this level, that we run into some resistance. That is the point of control, of course, and then of course it would make sense to pull the trigger on a short trade. But also here, like I said, I would be very careful, because if we're seeing more price action to the upside in the month of September, then I think it can only be a scalp, a few percent, and then we go higher again. So therefore, although we just had a dump on BTC, I am still leaning bullish, and I'm still more looking for swing trades at the moment, because we both know, or all of us know, how fast this can change in the world of crypto. And with 1 or 2 red days, suddenly everyone's bearish, 1 or 2 green days, suddenly everyone is bullish. But on a bigger time frame, if you then zoom out, it makes a lot of sense that we are really bottoming out, and we're really charging up for a new leg to the upside. Let me quickly look at BTC one more time before I'm going to cut the stream.